Have you ever felt like someone just stopped valuing you, like one day you mattered, and the next you didn't even exist to them? Marcus Aurelius once said, "The approval of others is not the measure of your worth." If that hits close to home, you're not alone. And this video isn't about revenge. It's about reclaiming your power through wisdom that's lasted for over 2,000 years. Today, we're diving deep into Stoic strategies to help you walk away with strength, detach with peace, and rebuild the confidence you forgot you had. Let's get into it. This video isn't about sugar-coating reality or handing out empty feel-good platitudes. It's not about pretending that everything will magically get better if you just believe hard enough. No, this is about serving you the cold, hard truths that every man needs to hear, the truths most men never dare face. If you want to be the kind of man who commands respect, who lives by his own rules, and who refuses to settle for anything less than what he deserves, then you need to start making real changes right now. Today, I will guide you step by step on how to break free from the trap of constantly seeking validation, how to set boundaries like a true leader, how to reclaim your focus, and finally, how to dominate your own path with unshakable confidence. This is not just advice. This is your roadmap to becoming the man you were born to be. Let me be clear, if you're ready to stop being overlooked, undervalued, and underappreciated, stay with me until the very end of this video. And while you're here, drop a comment below right now that says, "I choose respect over approval," because today is the day everything changes. First, understand this: don't chase validation. Chasing validation is by far the most unattractive behavior a man can exhibit. It's the fastest way to lose respect, not just from others, but from yourself. Think about it. What really happens when you constantly seek validation? You hand over your power to someone else. You give them the authority to decide your worth. And that's weakness, plain and simple. And weakness, it doesn't attract respect, it repels it. Here's something society doesn't want you to realize. From the moment you were a child, you were trained to seek approval. You were taught to be the good boy, always trying to please everyone, avoid any conflict at all costs, and bend over backward just for a little praise. But here's the harsh reality: that mindset sets you up for failure. You've been trapped all along. Picture this: you're in a relationship and your partner starts pulling away. Maybe she's less affectionate, texting less often, or suddenly too busy to spend time with you. What do most men do? They panic. They call more, text more desperately, trying to fix things. And what happens? She pulls away even further. Why? Because desperation kills attraction. But here's the crucial point. This isn't just about women or romantic relationships. This pattern shows up in every area of your life: friendships, a career, family. The more you chase validation, the less you receive. People respect strength, not neediness. And chasing validation is the clearest sign of neediness. So how do you break free from this endless cycle? It starts with changing the narrative. Instead of chasing external validation, turn your focus inward toward self-respect. Ask yourself, am I living in a way that I truly respect? Are my actions aligned with my core values? If the answer is no, it's time to change. Because the moment you start respecting yourself, others will begin to follow your lead. Here's a tough but vital truth: not everyone will value you no matter what you do. And that's perfectly okay. Your job isn't to make everyone like you. It's to be the best version of yourself regardless of who's watching. When you stop chasing others, you start attracting from a place of strength, not weakness or neediness. That's when everything changes. Finally, learn to recognize the warning signs. The first step to reclaiming your power is awareness. You can't fix what you don't see. Honestly, most men ignore these signs when they stop feeling valued. Why? Because the truth is uncomfortable. It's easier to pretend everything's fine than to face the reality that you're being taken for granted. So what are those warning signs? Sometimes they're subtle: a change in tone, a lack of enthusiasm, an unexplained distance. Other times they're blatant canceled plans, unanswered calls, or even outright disrespect. Either way, the signs are there, and you just need to open your eyes and take notice. Take a moment to reflect. Have you ever felt like you were giving your all to someone, but only getting the bare minimum in return? Maybe you're always the one initiating conversations, always the one making plans, always the one compromising. And what do you get back? Excuses, indifference, or silence. Remember, people only truly value what they have to work for. If you're the one always putting in all the effort, you're teaching them they don't have to. You're teaching them your time, energy, and attention are cheap. And let me tell you, cheap things are easily discarded. Recognizing these warning signs isn't about blaming others. It's about taking responsibility for your part in the dynamic. Ask yourself honestly, are you tolerating disrespect? Are you giving too much? Are you ignoring red flags just because you're afraid of confrontation? If the answer is yes, then it's time to wake up and take control of your life. If you've been ignoring red flags just because you're afraid of confrontation, it's time to wake up. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine you're in a relationship and your partner starts canceling plans at the last minute. The first time you let it slide, the second time you make excuses for them. By the third time, you're starting to feel resentful, yet you still don't say anything. Why? Because you don't want to rock the boat or cause conflict. But here's the harsh truth: by staying silent, you're teaching them that it's okay to disrespect your time. And once they realize this, the behavior only continues. Recognizing warning signs isn't just about spotting the problem. It's about deciding how you're going to respond. Will you keep tolerating disrespect, or will you set a new standard for how you want to be treated? The choice is yours. Now let's talk about the power of stepping back. This is where the real magic happens. When someone stops valuing you, the most powerful thing you can do is not to chase, beg, or argue with them. It's to step back. Let me say that again for those in the back: step back. Why is stepping back so powerful? Because it shifts the entire dynamic. When you step back, you're no longer playing their game. You're no longer feeding their ego or chasing after their attention. And when you stop chasing something, incredible happens. They start noticing your absence. Picture this: you're always available, always the first to text, always the one making plans, always bending over backward to keep them happy. What happens? They get comfortable. They start taking you for granted. Your presence becomes predictable and predictable. Things are easy to ignore. Now imagine stepping back. You stop texting, stop calling, stop initiating contact. Suddenly they're left wondering, what's going on? Why haven't I heard from him? Did I mess up? That's the power of absence. It forces them to confront what life feels like without you. But here's the catch: of stepping back isn't about playing games or manipulating someone into missing you. It's about reclaiming your power. It's about redirecting your energy from them to yourself. It's about saying, I'm no longer going to invest in someone who doesn't value me. I'm going to invest in myself. And let me tell you, that shift is life-changing. When you step back and focus on yourself, you become stronger, more confident, and more grounded. You stop needing their approval because you've found your own. That's when the dynamic changes. That's when they start noticing what they've lost. That's when they start chasing you. But here's the thing: by the time they come crawling back, you might not even want them anymore. Because when you truly invest in yourself, you realize your worth was never tied to them in the first place. You were always enough. You just needed to see it for yourself. Remember, your worth was never tied to anyone else. You were always enough. You just needed to realize it for yourself. So the next time someone disrespects you, instead of reacting immediately, try this: step back, take a deep breath, and focus on yourself. Watch what happens. Trust me, they will notice your absence. But more importantly, you will notice your own power awakening. Now let's talk about something crucial: investing in yourself. When was the last time you truly put yourself first? And I don't mean mindlessly watching TV or scrolling through your phone. I'm talking about real intentional self-investment, the kind that transforms you from the inside out, the kind that makes you wake up each day feeling like a stronger, better version of yourself. Here's a hard truth: the world doesn't reward mediocrity, and people don't respect a man who neglects himself. Investing in yourself isn't selfish. It's survival. If you're not growing, you're dying, plain and simple. But here's the problem: most men pour all their energy into others. They bend over backward for relationships, sacrifice their own time for people who don't appreciate them, and put their dreams on hold to make someone else happy. Then they wonder why they feel drained, stuck, and unfulfilled. Let me break it down for you. When you invest in yourself, you send a powerful message to the world and to yourself: I matter. I'm worth the effort. I'm worth the time. I'm worth the energy. That message changes the way you see yourself, and it changes the way others see you. Start by asking yourself one simple but profound question: what would the best version of me look like? Not the man you are today, but the man you know you could be if you stop making excuses. Maybe he's fitter, stronger, more disciplined. Maybe he's financially secure, emotionally stable. and living with purpose. Now ask yourself, what's stopping me from becoming that man? 9 times out of 10, the answer is you. Here's another hard truth. You can't blame anyone else for where you are in life. Not your partner, not your parents, not your boss. It's on you. And believe it or not, that's a good thing. It means you have the power to change your situation. But it all starts with a decision to stop wasting time on things that don't matter and start investing in yourself. Imagine this instead, rather than chasing after someone who doesn't value you. You channel that energy into hitting the gym, learning a new skill, or starting a business. Instead of waiting for someone to validate you, you validate yourself by setting goals and crushing them. Instead of worrying about what others think, you focus on becoming the man you're proud to be. Here's the best part: when you invest in yourself, you don't just change your life. You change the way people perceive you. You become magnetic. People are naturally drawn to confidence, discipline, and purpose. When you invest in yourself, building confidence, discipline, and living with purpose, people begin to respect you. Not because you demand it, but because you've earned it through your actions and character. And that kind of respect, it's priceless. Starting today, commit to one small act of self-investment. It doesn't have to be huge. Maybe it's spending 30 minutes at the gym. Maybe it's reading a book instead of mindlessly watching TV. Maybe it's setting a goal and taking the very first step toward it. Whatever it is, do it for yourself. Because the best version of you is waiting, and it's time to meet him. Now let's talk about setting boundaries like a true leader. Most men cringe at the word boundaries because they've been taught that setting boundaries makes you difficult, selfish, or unkind. But here's the reality: boundaries aren't walls meant to keep people out. They're guardrails designed to protect what matters most: your time, your energy, and your peace of mind. If you're not setting boundaries, you're essentially setting yourself up to be walked all over. So let me ask you something. How many times have you said yes when you really wanted to say no? How often have you let someone disrespect you just because you didn't want to cause conflict? How many times have you tolerated behavior that made you uncomfortable, all in the name of keeping the peace? Every time you do that, you're sending a message. My feelings don't matter. My time doesn't matter. My standards don't matter. And guess what? People believe you. Here's the harsh truth: if you don't respect yourself enough to set boundaries, no one else will. But aren't about being rude or confrontational. They're about being clear and firm. You're simply saying, this is what I need and I won't accept anything less. Setting boundaries starts with knowing your non-negotiables. What are the things you absolutely will not tolerate? Maybe it's constant lateness. Maybe it's disrespectful language or emotional manipulation. Whatever it is, write it down. Get crystal clear on what matters to you. Because if you don't know your boundaries, how can you expect anyone else to? Next, communicate your boundaries confidently. And here's the key: back them up with actions, not just words. Words can be ignored, but actions demand respect. If someone disrespects your boundary, don't argue or explain yourself, just enforce it. For example, if a friend keeps canceling plans at the last minute, stop making plans with them. If a partner consistently disrespects, you have the courage to walk away. Your boundaries are only as strong as your willingness to enforce them. Now here's where most men struggle: they're afraid of losing people. They think, if I set boundaries, they'll leave. And maybe they will. But here's the question you need to ask yourself: do you really want people in your life who only stay when they can disrespect you? Because that's not love. That's convenience. The truth is, boundaries don't push the right people away, they attract them. When you set boundaries, you show people that you value yourself, and those who truly respect you will rise to meet your standards. Let's explore a powerful concept that most men overlook, but can change everything: the absence effect. Here's the truth: your presence is your power, but your absence is even more powerful. People don't truly value what's always available. They value what they fear losing. If you're constantly present, always giving, always chasing, always available, you're unintentionally teaching people that they don't need to value you because you'll always be there. Let me share a story to illustrate this. There was a man who was always there for everyone. He was the first to offer help, the first to send a message, the one always making plans. At first, people loved him for it. They appreciated his effort, his kindness. But over time, something changed. People started taking him for granted. They stopped showing up for him. They stopped appreciating his efforts. Why? Because his presence became predictable. And predictable things sadly become easy to ignore. One day, this man decided to do something different. He stopped texting first. He stopped showing up uninvited. He stopped giving his time to people who didn't value it. And you know what happened? People started noticing. They began reaching out, asking where he had been, wondering why they hadn't heard from him. His absence created a void, a space that made them realize what they had taken for granted. This, my friend, is the absence effect in action. When you step back, you create space for people to truly feel your absence. And in that space, they're forced to confront what life feels like without you. It's a wake-up call, a powerful reminder of your value. But here's the thing, you can't fake this. You can't use stepping back as a tactic to manipulate someone into chasing you. That's not the point. The point is to step back for yourself, to reclaim your time, your energy, and your focus, to stop investing in people who don't invest in you. And here's the best part, when you step back, two things happen. Either they realize your value and step up, or they don't, and you realize you're better off without them. Either way, you win. Remember, this isn't just theory. It's a reality most men don't understand. Your constant presence can unintentionally lead others to undervalue you because they assume you'll always be there. So take a moment to reflect. Are you always the one showing up? Always the one giving? If so, what impact is that having on the way people treat you? Sometimes the most powerful move is to simply step away, to let your absence speak louder than your presence ever could. One day, this man decided to do something different. He stopped texting first. He stopped showing up uninvited. He stopped giving his time to people who didn't value it. And you know what happened? People started noticing. They began reaching out, asking where he'd been, wondering why they hadn't heard from him. His absence created a void, a space that made them realize what they had taken for granted. This, my friend, is the absence effect in action. When you step back, you create room for people to feel your absence. In that space, they're forced to confront what life feels like without you. It's a wake-up call, a powerful reminder of your value. But here's an important truth, you can't fake this. You can't step back just as a tactic to manipulate someone into chasing you. That's not the point. The point is to step back for yourself, to reclaim your time, your energy, and your focus. To stop investing in people who don't invest in you. And here's the best part, when you step back, two things happen. Either they realize your value and step up, or they don't, and you realize you're better off without them. Either way, you win. Now let's move on to a critical quality every man needs to embrace: unshakable confidence. Confidence is something every man knows he needs, but many struggle to achieve. Why? Because you've been taught the wrong definition of confidence your entire life. Society tells you that confidence is about being loud, flashy, and dominating every room you walk into. But here's the real truth. Real confidence is quiet, calm, and unshakable. It's the kind of confidence that doesn't need validation because it comes from within. So what does unshakable confidence look like? Imagine walking into a room and not feeling the need to prove yourself to anyone. You're not the loudest guy there. You're not bragging about your accomplishments or trying to impress people. You're just present, calm, composed, and secure in who you are. That's the kind of confidence that turns heads, and it's the kind that lasts. How do you get there? It starts with one simple realization. Confidence isn't about what you have. It's about what you believe. You don't need six-pack abs, a six-figure income, or a fancy car to be confident. Sure, those things are nice, but they're external, and external things can be taken away. Real confidence comes from knowing your worth regardless of what you have or don't have. Think about the guy who's always showing off his car, his job, or his lifestyle. At first glance, he might seem confident, but dig a little deeper and you'll realize his confidence is fragile. Take away the car, the job, or the lifestyle, and what's left? Nothing. Now compare that to the man who walks into a room with nothing to prove. He's not flashy, but he's grounded. He doesn't need to show off because his confidence comes from within. That's unshakable confidence. Let's continue by discussing two more crucial steps on your path to becoming the man you were meant to be. First, let's talk about how confidence is truly built. Confidence doesn't come from empty words or wishes. It's built through action, through showing up, doing the work, and proving to yourself again and again that you're capable. Whether it's hitting the gym, learning a new skill, or tackling a tough challenge, every time you follow through, you're telling yourself, I can do this. The more you keep your promises to yourself, the stronger and more unshakable your confidence becomes. Next, let's address a common pitfall. Many men fall into over-explaining themselves. Over-explaining is a clear sign of insecurity. It happens when you feel the need to justify your decisions, boundaries, or standards to people who don't deserve an explanation. And let me be honest with you, it's one of the fastest ways to lose respect. Why? Because every time you over-explain, you give away more doubt than confidence. Think about it. Have you ever been in a situation where someone questioned your choice and you started rambling to justify it? Maybe you said no to a plan and suddenly felt compelled to give a detailed reason why. Or perhaps you set a boundary, and when it was challenged, you began justifying it. What happened next? Did they respect you more? Probably not. In fact, they likely respected you less because your over-explaining made you seem unsure of yourself. Here's the truth. Real men don't over-explain. They let their actions speak louder than words. If someone doesn't like it, that's their problem, not yours. When you truly know your worth, you don't need to justify yourself to anyone. So how do you break the habit of over-explaining? Start by practicing silence. The next time someone questions your decision, resist the urge to explain. Instead, simply say, "That's what works best for me," and leave it at that. If they push further, repeat yourself, "That's what works best for me." Trust me, the more you practice this, the more confident you'll feel and the more respect you'll command. Over-explaining doesn't just make you look insecure, it drains your energy. Every time you waste time justifying yourself to someone who doesn't deserve it, you're taking energy away from what truly matters. So stop. Save your energy for people who respect you enough to accept your decisions without question. For everyone else, let your silence speak volumes. Now, moving on to another tough but necessary step, cutting the dead weight. Let me ask you a difficult question. Are there people in your life right now who are holding you back? Maybe it's a friend who only calls when they need something. Maybe it's a partner who doesn't support your goals. Maybe it's a colleague who constantly undermines you. Whoever it is, deep down they're dead weight. If you want to grow, you need to let them go. Cutting people off isn't easy. It's uncomfortable, awkward, and sometimes feels downright cruel. But let me tell you something. Keeping toxic people in your life is far more damaging than letting them go. Every time you tolerate their negative behavior, you're sending a message not only to them but to yourself that it's okay to be disrespected and undervalued. Every time you tolerate disrespectful behavior, you send a clear message not just to those around you, but to yourself that you're okay with being disrespected. And that message, it comes with serious consequences. Think about it like this. Your time and energy are limited resources. Every single minute you spend on someone who doesn't value you is a minute stolen from your goals, your growth, and your happiness. So why waste it? Why pour your energy into people who won't pour anything back? Imagine you're trying to climb a mountain, but you're carrying a heavy backpack filled with useless stuff. Things you don't need and that don't serve you. How far do you think you'll get? Probably not very far. Now imagine taking that backpack off. Suddenly the climb becomes easier. You can move faster, breathe easier, and focus all your energy on reaching the summit. That's exactly what it feels like to cut the dead weight from your life. Here's how you do it. First, identify the people who drain you. Who are the ones that make you feel worse instead of better? Who are the ones that take from you but never give back? Next, set clear boundaries. Let them know what you will and won't tolerate. And if they can't respect those boundaries, walk away. No explanations, no apologies, just walk away. But here's the thing. Cutting people off isn't just about them. It's about you. It's about choosing yourself over those who don't choose you. It's about creating space in your life for the people who truly value you. It's about sending a powerful message to yourself and the world that you refuse to settle for less. Take a hard look at your life. Identify the dead weight. Set your boundaries. Start cutting. It won't be easy. It may even feel uncomfortable or awkward. But trust me, it will be worth it. Because when you let go of the wrong people, you make room for the right ones, and that's when your life truly begins to change. Now let's talk about reclaiming your focus. Let me ask you something. How much of your time do you spend thinking about things that don't really matter? Maybe it's a woman who isn't giving you the respect you deserve. Maybe it's a friend who constantly takes advantage of your kindness. Maybe it's a situation at work that drains your energy. Whatever it is, here's the truth. Every moment you spend focusing on things outside your control is a moment wasted. And wasted moments add up to a wasted life. Let's break this down. Your focus is your most valuable resource. It's what allows you to achieve your goals, grow as a person, and create the life you want. But if your focus is scattered, if you're constantly distracted by other people's drama, opinions, and disrespect, you'll never reach your full potential. Why? Because you're giving away the one thing you absolutely cannot afford to lose: your attention. Think about this. How many times have you stayed up late replaying a conversation in your head, wondering what you could have said differently? How many hours have you wasted on worries and regrets? Let's continue with an important shift in mindset that can transform how you manage your energy and emotions. How often have you found yourself scrolling endlessly through social media, comparing your life to others? How much energy have you wasted trying to fix relationships with people who don't even appreciate your efforts? Now imagine what your life could look like if you took all that time, energy, and focus and redirected it toward your own goals. Imagine the progress you could make, the skills you could develop, and the success you could achieve. Reclaiming your focus begins with one simple decision. Stop giving your attention to things that don't deserve it. If something isn't helping you grow, let it go. If it's not aligned with your goals, walk away. If it's draining your energy, cut it off. It's that simple, but simple doesn't mean easy. Here's the catch: reclaiming your focus requires discipline. It demands that you say no to distractions, even when they're tempting. It calls for setting boundaries, even when it's uncomfortable. And it means prioritizing yourself, even when others don't understand. So how do you do it? Start by identifying your top priorities. What are the things that truly matter to you? Maybe it's your career, your health, or your personal growth. Whatever it is, write it down. Get crystal clear on what you want to achieve. Next, take an honest look at how you're spending your time. Are your actions aligned with your priorities, or are you wasting your focus on things that don't matter? Once you've identified the distractions in your life, take action. Unfollow people on social media who make you feel less than. Say no to plans that don't align with your goals. Most importantly, stop giving your energy to people who don't respect you. Because when you reclaim your focus, you reclaim your power, and that's when your life starts to change. Now let's explore a powerful concept: the art of subtle detachment. Detachment, the word itself might sound cold or distant, but it's actually one of the most powerful tools a man can have. It's not about being emotionless or uncaring. It's about finding freedom, freedom from the need for validation, freedom from the fear of losing people, and freedom from the pressure to constantly prove yourself. When you master the art of detachment, you become unstoppable. Here's what most people get wrong. They think detachment means not caring. But the truth is, detachment isn't about not caring. It's about caring the right way. It's about loving, working, and living with your whole heart, but without being controlled by the outcome. It's about giving your best to every situation without letting your happiness depend on how things turn out. Imagine being in a relationship where you're constantly worried about whether the other person is going to leave. You overthink every text, every conversation, every interaction. How exhausting would that be? Let's continue by exploring the power of detachment and how it can transform your life. Sometimes in relationships, you become so focused on keeping the other person happy that you completely forget about your own happiness. But that's not love, that's fear. And fear is the exact opposite of detachment. Now imagine a different scenario. You're in the same relationship, but instead of worrying about the outcome, you focus on being the best version of yourself. You communicate clearly, set boundaries, and give your all. But you don't let your happiness depend on their actions. If they stay, great. If they leave, you're still okay. That, my friend, is detachment, and that is freedom. Detachment isn't just about relationships. It's a mindset you can apply to every area of your life, whether it's your career, friendships, or personal goals. Detachment allows you to stay grounded and focused no matter what happens. When you're detached, you're no longer controlled by external circumstances. Instead, you're in control of yourself. So how do you develop detachment? Start by shifting your focus. Instead of worrying about things beyond your control, focus on what you can control. Instead of seeking approval from others, seek approval from yourself. And instead of clinging to specific outcomes, trust that whatever happens, you'll be okay. Detachment requires you to let go of fear, insecurity, and the need for control. When you master it, you gain something far more valuable: peace of mind. And in a world full of chaos, peace of mind is priceless. Now let's move on to the final and most important step: dominate your own path. This is it, the ultimate goal. The one thing that separates average men from extraordinary men. It's time to dominate your own path. And no, I don't mean dominate in an arrogant or aggressive way. I mean dominate in a way that's confident, purposeful, and unapologetic. Here's the truth: if you don't take control of your life, someone else will. Think about it. How many men spend their entire lives following someone else's script? They go to school because they're told to. They get a job because it's expected. They settle down because society says that's what they should do. And before they realize it, they're stuck living a life that doesn't feel like their own. But here's the thing: you weren't born to live someone else's life. You were born to create your own. So how do you dominate your own path? Start by taking full responsibility for your life. Stop blaming other people for where you are. Stop waiting for someone to save you. Stop making excuses, because the moment you take ownership of your life, you take back your power. And with that power, you can create the life you truly want. Next, get clear on your vision. What does success look like for you? Not what society says it should look like, not what your friends or family think it should be, but what you want. Maybe it's building a business, traveling the world, mastering a skill, or something else entirely. Whatever it is, make it real. Write it down. Visualize it. Let's finish strong by tying everything together and giving you a clear path forward. Whether your vision is building a business, traveling the world, mastering a skill, or something else entirely, the first step is to write it down. Make it real in your mind and on paper, then take action. Because a vision without action remains nothing more than a dream. But here's the important part: dominating your own path isn't about doing it all alone. It's about surrounding yourself with people who support your vision, challenge you to grow, and push you to be better. It's also about letting go of anyone who doesn't. Because the truth is, you cannot dominate your path if you're constantly weighed down by dead weight. Finally, remember this: dominating your own path isn't about reaching a final destination. It's about enjoying the journey. It's about waking up every day knowing you're living life on your own terms. It's about looking in the mirror and feeling proud of the man you've become. And it's about leaving a legacy you can be proud of. So stop waiting, stop doubting, stop holding back. The path is yours to create. The time is now, and the man to do it is you. Imagine waking up tomorrow and no longer chasing the validation of people who don't even deserve a seat at your table. Imagine walking into every room with unshakable confidence, confidence that knows it doesn't need to prove itself to anyone because your worth isn't up for negotiation. Imagine the distractions that used to drain your energy disappearing because you reclaimed your focus and started channeling it toward your goals. How much stronger would you feel? How much more respect would you command? How unstoppable would you become? Now picture this: the people who once took you for granted begin to notice your absence. They feel the void of your energy, your presence, your power. But by the time they come crawling back, you're too busy dominating your own path to care. You're busy building, growing, evolving, living life on your terms, not theirs. How would that feel? That's what this is all about: not fixing them, but transforming you. You're not here to beg for scraps of respect. You're here to own your value set, your boundaries, and create a life so extraordinary that people have no choice but to respect it. And it all starts with a decision to stop settling, stop chasing, and stop giving your time and energy to people who don't deserve it. But none of this will happen if you don't take action. Watching this means nothing if you don't apply what you've learned. So here's your challenge: start today. Set one boundary. Reclaim 1 hour of your time. Take one step toward the man you know you're meant to be. Because every journey starts with a single step, and your journey starts now. Finally, if this message hit you, if it woke something up inside you, then do this comment below: I am ready to reclaim my power. That's your declaration to the world. I would love to hear about your journey and your triumphs. Please hit subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and leave a comment below to share your story, your successes, your challenges, and the lessons you've learned along the way. If you're not sure what to write, just drop a comment saying I love this video, so I know you've been here with me today. Every like, comment, and share not only motivates me, but also helps our community grow stronger, learning together how to turn every challenge into an opportunity. I've lined up one videos right here for you to keep moving forward on your journey of self-improvement. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on valuable content. Thank you so much for sticking around this far. I'll see you in the next video.